with no other. Danielle, I know you was already giving it. Go ahead, honey child.
Two-time Grammy winning, Emmy winning singer, songwriter, Miss Cocoa Sarai.
It was
Yes,
good job. It was
BK's
good.
own.
BK all
Yes,
day.
yes.
All
Yes,
day.
BK representing
You
BK to the
already
fullest.
know. You already know.
Yes.
yes. And the one thing that I really I'm definitely want to dive into is because of course like you come from like the early beginnings of just church and being able
Hmm.
to sing and lift your voice and then of course coming from BK like that's like crazy culture by itself
Hmm.
just being from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Then not only that you have Jamaican roots. So
And I must know
let's
it. Yeah.
yes
Yeah.
shout out to Jamaica.
That was Jamaica. Yeah.
And I want you kind of just kind of dive into like kind of being deeply rooted just in both of those cultures and being able to identify in those to help you with like your sound, your writing, just you overall as an artist and be able to walk into that.
I think it's been an interesting journey now that I'm like speaking about it. And uh, when something is just what you are, you don't question like how it happened. Like you're just like, well, my mom and my dad, and I'm here now, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you're a kid, you kind of just like, oh, you don't think about which auntie is through marriage. You just like, that's my auntie and that's my uncle. And you get older, like, oh, you married in, like you wasn't here. Y'all wasn't just born together. Like, as you get older. And I think it's kind of that as well, like with the balance of both. And living in New York for so long, I don't think I recognized how special that mixture was until I moved to LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always grateful. We all come from a melting pot of heritage where most people in New York are like first, not most, but some people are first and second generation children of immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or just family moving up from the South. Either way, you're coming from somewhere else. And then New York is was this melting pot of culture in itself, because then we all, the children of the immigrants and the children of the people from the South, all went to school together and now have our own culture and have hip hop and have reggae music, and dancehall music that's not just for West Indians, it's for everybody. Like I realized in the Bay, they was turning up the hyphy at the parties. In New York, you thought it's all about them big fat sisters like that. That was
Yeah,
gonna get the
yes,
party
yes.
going. And so that the culture of that was gonna be there regardless. But growing up in New York meant that I was the only singer in the cipher, like legit singing and controlling ciphers, with rappers and beatboxers. I had a beatboxer be a part of my band or a part of my live show for 15 years, like in New York. And when I moved here, Foz is my beatboxer now. He's incredible. Um, but being raised in church, singing, I started singing at the age of 2, and I come from a family full of musicians and singers. So that was just always there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of like, they say nature versus nurture. I don't know, it's both. It's definitely a bit of both. Like, and all things come together. My grandmother was from Charlotte, South Carolina. My grandfather was from Hanover, Jamaica. And
Mm,
so I have all of it genuinely. Like, like and I was raised, by grandparents most of the time. And so all of that is it's just a part. I don't know. I only now have I recognized the spaces in which it's separated. Um, when it comes to
mm,
creating,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and I just was like, yeah, I don't want to, and so I don't. So if I hear a beat or a record and I'm like writing a song, I'll hear so many different ways to approach it, whether singing or rapping or
Right.
whatever. And then if I hear something that feels like this sounds like I would say it in patois, then I go see it in patois, and that's it. And if I want to sing there, I'm gonna sing there, and if I want to rap there, I'm gonna rap there. And I kind of decided that I didn't have to choose sometime in the last 4 or 5 years. And that's the music that's coming out now, where it's a mixture of all of it. And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm gonna make it, you figure it out.
mm,
You call it what you
mm.
want,
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't box it.
Yeah,
Is
yeah. Like,
is there like a specific memory that like instantly reminds you like why you chose this life in music and storytelling?
mm,
Or is it just like an abundance of things that just like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like why I chose. I don't know if I chose music. I don't know if I like was like I'm choosing
Mhm.
this. I think from a child, I remember one of the earliest memories I have of someone asking me a question like that.
Mhm.
I was probably in kindergarten, my kindergarten graduation. It's so funny because I just found a picture of me holding a trophy at the graduation.
Oh,
And um the woman came up to me, because I was supposed to sing on stage. And she said, "So, are you going to be a singer when you grow up?" And I was
Oh wait,
oh,
yeah,
your sound.
yeah, we can hear you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
No, it's probably gonna pop out.
Oh, maybe she got a phone call.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yep.
IG does that.
Yeah, this is why. Uh-oh. Yeah. All right, guys. Just a little bit of technical difficulty.
Bear
One
with us.
second.
Bear with us.
Bear with us as he come back. I love that. I love that. Definitely her saying that she don't know if she chose it,
Mhm.
but it's a fact like definitely key that, it chose her. So in a
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to hear what she told the lady at her graduation.
Right, right. Sister new. Okay, so we'll give it a
Oh, she might have to
moment,
go out and come back in,
probably.
maybe. All right, just bear with us. Little technical difficulties. In the meantime, in between time, Knicks and 7. I don't care what y'all say. Knicks and 7, okay? Because they won tonight.
Yes.
Knicks and 7. So
All right. Yep, here she goes. She goes. She back. She back. Let's get this going. Hi, Freddie. That's my sis.
okay. That was stressful. Like a call came in.
I see. I knew.
The
I
figure
said
is
she
like,
probably got a phone
she
call.
got a call.
I don't think I've been on a joint live like this since like the pandemic. So
Mm.
I am expecting that if the call comes in, oh, excuse me, if the call comes in, Brittany B, if the call comes in and you reject it, it's supposed to let you keep going.
Mhm.
No, it like kicked me out and then I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Nope.
my phone
No,
is
you're
You
on do
good.
good.
not
No,
You're
you're
disturb.
good.
good. You're good. You're
I
good.
didn't know that would happen. I saw it coming like, boom, like check it, but whatever. All right.
You're good. You're good. Definitely. So
But
we
yeah.
were just basically, I know you were in that last question with Danielle in regards to whether or not, you felt like you chose
Oh
music,
yeah,
but
what
we
I
were
was
just in that
explaining is,
discussion. Yeah.
yeah, what I was explaining is that she asked me if I wanted to be a singer when I grew up in it, and I was singing in church at the time, m- like I was in church like 6 days a week. I'm a pastor's granddaughter, like,
Mhm.
and so it was like, what? I'm already a sing. Like, what do you? Even
Mhm.
at that age, I was like, what do you mean? I already do that. And then she's like, oh well, do you want to be a writer? Are you gonna write? Are you gonna be a writer? And I was like, okay. And then she's like, what do you want to? Do you want to write children's books? And I remember I was like, okay, right. It's so funny because I did grow up to end up becoming a songwriter and a poet and things like that. But at that time, I remember her leading the question about, what I would write.
Mhm.
But I always knew that that's what I did. Like that's always been such a big part of my identity. Um, that it was actually odd when I stopped for a while,
Mm.
or I don't know if I ever really stopped, but when I like slowed down in
Mhm.
in in a way because of, industry politics and BS, and I'm always busy because I'm performing, but I knew that I hadn't put out music since 2021 up until April. And most people don't notice it because I stayed busy and I was on features and stuff, but in that time frame it
Stay
was like,
busy,
who am
definitely.
I? It was like, who am I in this landscape if I decide I'm not releasing music anymore? And I hadn't decided that, but it was just like a weird, I don't know. That's just what I do. It's like breathing. It's
Yeah. It's like second nature
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
yeah.
And
It's a
least you
it's
had
a big part of
that
me.
moment to at least try to figure that out and be able to still look at least keep it to the eye as if look, you're booked, you're busy, you're working, you're doing this, but also to have that moment. Every creative have that moment where it's just like, okay, like, well, how do I pull back just a little bit, just to kind of reset the tone, understand me as an artist, a writer, producer, whatever it is that is directing and all that. So, but job well done to you, because
Thank
you
you.
made it look
Yes.
Thank
like
you.
Effortlessly.
super easy.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
And
It
so,
wasn't an intentional stop. You know, it was
mhm,
like you start giving your time, and we was working on a Snoop project for 3 years, like it feels like. And that wasn't the only thing I was working on. I still was working on all this music that's about to drop, but
Mhm.
the landscape of the industry was changing and very rapidly, and it
mm,
required me to give so much, so often, consistently, and
right,
deciding like there's no way around doing content and having to be a content driven artist if you want to survive in this landscape. So
right.
I had to get over that first
Hmm.
and get through trying to edit and trying to be more consistent and deciding what that looks like for me, because I'm like, I'm not the TikTok dancer.
Hmm.
And at the time, it was a confusing time for artists where it was just like, no, you can be exactly who you are and just heal your
Yeah.
world.
Right,
But it wasn't that at first. At first, it was like, yeah, y'all need to be doing dances and trends. And it was just like, give me a second, bro, because I
right.
don't know, And so now I think I'm finding good balance, and I'm
And for
also
having the
okay with,
pressures of creating TikTok sounds and music that, so that can go viral and be in that
yeah,
area.
I didn't even get into that. I was just like, I feel like there's an audience for whatever you want to
Yeah, no,
do.
they're
And
here.
so
Very
And
true.
so and so because of that, I'm gonna make the music that feels good to me all the
Hmm.
time. And the audience, that's my job, is to make sure that I am uh actively looking and being discoverable for the audience that's looking for me. I don't
Yes.
think it's more
Very
so
true.
like, oh, I need to make a record like this. I just make whatever. Can I curse?
Yeah,
Yes.
go
I
ahead.
just
We
make whatever
grown.
the fuck I feel like making.
Hmm.
Like I'm not, because I am so creative. I'm so wildly annoyingly creative. Like I have so many ideas and I love so many different genres. And I am like, the genre of whatever I am is a mixture of so many things because of my upbringing, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And so like whatever that is, there has to be an audience for it. So when I did Pat Down, my current single, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is gonna work for TikTok. I was thinking, this is how I feel, and we're making this record, me and them joints. And when it was time to put it out, I was terrified, but because I'm only rapping on it really, and I didn't know how people would respond to it. But I also was like, well, they got to get used to it because
Hmm.
I'm gonna be rapping a lot more in the upcoming singles and the upcoming records. On the upcoming album, I am singing and rapping and speaking patois, and all of that is gonna happen. So like, all right, well, this will warm them up so they get used to it. But I also had to get used to what that meant for my fan base that was used to me. Like, we want to hear her sing something. Where's her R&B? It's coming. Let me cook, But at the same time, it's more like, all right, if this works on TikTok, how and what part of it works? Not, I'm gonna make a song for that, and then you get what I mean. I'm not like
Right.
doing it that way. It's
Right.
like I'm making the music, and now let's see where it fits and
Where
makes sense.
Hmm.
And while we're already on the subject, especially of your latest single, Pat Down,
Mhm.
let's get into it. One thing I love about this track is definitely in your face, funky. It has big energy.
Yeah.
This is it's amazing. I love the switch in the flows in between of what you have and with the cadence of the music. I
Mhm.
want you to kind of get into, because obviously you already just spoke. Like, listen, this is what I'm giving with my new upcoming music. Kind of talk about, let's talk a little bit more into this and how this reflects a bit more of your sound, how it reflects a little bit more in your delivery, and the creating process in regards to Pat Down.
Man, oh, well, first of all, shout out to Dem Joints, who is like a
Yes.
super producer and a big brother to me and an incredible friend and incredible co-collaborator. I we worked together a lot just on different things. We met over at the ICU with Dr. Dre. We met there, working with Dre. And he's like a big brother. I think that I started like rapping on records 7 years ago when I came to LA. I always could do it. I'm a
Hmm.
poet. I've been doing poetry before writing songs. But I didn't do it on record until I got to LA, and then that record was on Anderson .Paak's album. I could write it for other people, but I just never decided to do it on the mic, you know? And so when over time, it was like a little bit of an imposter syndrome about it. Not because I couldn't do it, but just because I have so much respect for the craft
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't about to just be like, oh, this. It was like, no, let me get some time. Let me see what my voice sounds like. And on top of it, because I'm a singer, I have access to so many different tones and I hear so many different ways to approach a song again. So what I recognize about rappers is that they knew what their tone was and they were able to do that on every record. They would switch it up a little bit, but not so much. And so when I first started recording the records, I was like, I hear a million different ways to do it. I hear it this way there, and I hear it this way there.
Mm-hmm.
And Dre is like that too. So it was like it was okay. It was just like, yeah, do it here, do it there, however you hear it. And so when I was doing Pat Down, it was at a point where it was just like, well, fuck it. This is how I hear it, and I'm just gonna do that there. And when Joints is like, I know I'm all over the place, but when I'm working with Joints, I can't overthink. And Joints is like, record, let's go. And I'm like, but maybe let's go. And before you even get a chance to think about it, like, yeah, I can't think myself out of it, you know? But you can talk yourself out of an idea when you're in the middle of creating it if you start judging it too early. And so when I work with him, it helped me to stop judging what I was doing because I was so nervous about wanting to make sure I'm being true to this or true to that or like,
Right.
and it was like true to what, bitch? You from New York? You from Brooklyn? What are you?
Hello.
What are
It
you
don't get
doing?
no
Like you're
truer than that.
this is your shit. You're her. Like you're not you I'm not studying any specific thing. I'm just doing what feels good, you know? And so when it got to that with Pat Down, it was just like a fun flow. Like that Pat Down. That's my old work. Left them in the back. I'm animated when I speak. I speak up here and then I'm down here and then I'm like, yo, let me tell you. And that's because that Brooklyn. That Brooklyn got that deep voice shit that is a part of me and my speaking voice and whatever the case is. So it was me being my complete
Mm-hmm.
self on the record, not making it like they said too nicey, not cleaning it up for any specific person's consumption and not deciding like, well, this be too, because I've always been assertive in my music. I've never been
Yes.
no punk bitch about what I'm saying. If I'm saying fuck being a bigger person, that's what it is. And if I'm saying I love you and I want you here, that's what it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same thing here. It's like I think once I did Strange Fame, I got some comments, from people that were like, oh, you need to do more music just like this, and like anything else is you going against blah 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 blah. And I was just kind of like, my brother got his ass whooped by the cops around the same time as George Floyd, and that song was written while I was in tears
Mm-hmm.
because people were posting up and doing a lot of the trauma clips to keep putting it out. And when I saw my brother's video and I'm holding my breath for 3 minutes and 32 seconds, waiting for him to pop back up on the camera to make sure he's not dead at the end of it because it went viral on Facebook because that's how I found out. We not, this ain't no fucking show. This was a real thing, a real
Yeah. This is
like
real life.
real like
Yeah.
this is real life for all of
Right.
us, like and it was something for people to talk about and to write about in the press, but this was real shit. And I'm
Right.
not and so in it when I'm singing or rapping in the song, it's just because that's what came out and the song came out of me and
That.
like that. I didn't write that. I don't write it down, you know? And so I think because of it, it was this, oh, she's this specific type of that's a part of who I am.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I want to fight the power. And sometimes I want to smack the shit out of somebody. And I'm going to sing or rap about it all, because I don't feel like I have to choose that. I don't have to choose that. And understanding that I didn't have to choose was important. And so Pat Down is an amalgamation of that type of thing, where it's like, I feel all of this
No
and
way.
I'm putting it all in here,
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a two-part question.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like first part, like since you moved to LA, or maybe like the beginning of when you moved to LA, do you feel like you kind of had to like change like who you are as far as like your personality or like how your music was? Because you know, LA and New York are like two different cities. You know, the people are very different. Do you feel like you kind of had to like change a little bit? And then my second part was, or well, answer this and then I'll ask the second part of this question.
Do you mean as a physical person in the world or in
No, 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 no.
music?
Just as like your personality or as like your music. Do you feel like you had to change for like
Hell
industry
no.
standards?
Hell fucking no. Hell motherfucking no. We got that sauce.
Oh,
Nope. Nope. The
okay.
artist that I am is all of that. It's a again, like if I'm singing a Cacao, which is a love song, like, even in the love song, oh, he loved this chocolate. He fucked with it before it was a trend. When we collide, suicide, overdosing on this melanin, that it's still
Mm-hmm.
poetry. But I'm saying he fucked with it before it was a trend because it was a trend to be chocolate at one point. Somebody told me that, like, oh, what you are is trendy right now. You should take advantage of the fact that you're dark skinned. I was like, bitch, what? Like,
Like, why are we
and so
trend? Like, what?
but I understand it taking that,
Mhm.
zooming out now. But the point I'm making is I didn't feel any pressure to change anything in my
Okay.
music. Like I feel like that's what got me to where I am, and I'm grateful that that is what has, you know, uh helped me and propelled me is that honesty and that rawness and that like absolute vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of that because if I tried to be something else it wouldn't work. Like I'm not, that's just not, I wouldn't be able to keep up a front for too long, you know? So
Right.
when you're hearing different songs that have different feels, that's all a part of me. It's just what's coming up that day on that record. And that's that. I think personality wise, New Yorkers, we grow up in an environment where, and I have to tell people this, just getting to school
Mm-hmm.
in elementary and middle
Oh,
school.
please.
Somebody's fighting on the train. You gotta, so it's another school rival in another school. If you in your uniform, you gotta be ready to throw hands at any given moment. It's like that. But most of the time you're not getting into those things. But you
Mm-hmm.
always gotta be ready. And everybody in New York, from the grandmothers to the little ones, are just like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. It's like
know,
you're kind of like forced to grow up as a New
you're
Yorker. Like,
you're forced to understand that hostility may come your way, and you also got to
mhm.
be prepared
Prepared. Yeah.
to react in kind, right?
Mhm.
And I think the personality of New Yorkers is still very straightforward. If we not fucking with something, it's like
We're not
we ain't fucking with that.
sugarcoating nothing. Yeah.
We not shit. No, I don't like that. I'm like, that's actually corny and I'm good. Or you do you, I'm gonna do me and we
Mhm.
good,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think or if we don't like something, it's like, nah, I feel what you're saying, or like I'm not jacking that. Like, it's like I fuck with that. Actually, you mad cool. Like we should actually hang out. And it would be like, I bet. And then if it's like, nah, I'm not fucking with it, we're not gonna pretend.
Yeah.
And I think that moving to LA, when I first moved here, and I have to stay specific to the transplants, not the LA natives,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna deal with some of that, you
Yeah.
know. But for me, it was unnecessary because I was just like, you don't gotta. I didn't come up to you and be like, oh my God, let's be friends.
Yeah.
Like, if you came to me and said that, I'm like, okay, bet you seem cool, we vibing, like let's. So when it would be the opposite of that, at first I used to get frustrated and I don't understand. And like, I felt the need to address everything. I learned I don't gotta address it. And the way that most people in the world move, a lot of people don't address everything. I will address some shit. Don't get it
Mm-hmm.
twisted. But it taught me the power of being being intentional with when I speak. And I've always been that way, but I feel like it's a little different now.
Mhm.
And just growing up. And just growing up. Because in New York we don't do passive aggression. I'm not a passive aggressive person. Like, like
Yeah. Like that. Like, oh, nice thing. Like,
I'm not gonna
yeah.
say
Yes.
something fun. I'm not gonna say something funny to you and not expect, like,
Yes.
like
Right.
if somebody's be like, oh yeah, well it should have been. They'll be like, wait, what happened? Like
Mhm.
that's New Yorkers.
Like, say
I
what
feel
you
like here
Yeah.
somebody say something like that, I'd be like, okay, and like they'll just walk away and never work with you again. Like finding the balance in that was interesting, and I think that over time it was just about I don't have to give energy to everything that's, you
Mhm.
know,
Yes.
I don't have to do that all the time. Where in New York, I feel like we give a lot of energy sometimes where we don't always need to, you know?
Right.
And so and that was a part of our survival. that was just the way things operated there. And here, I feel like it's expanded in a way that was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm either at you about it, or I'm just like, yeah, I don't really, do I really care?
Hmm.
Wha- Whatever.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know, like, yeah.
this next part, I mean, it could kind of like coincide with like the last question, but like earlier you spoke about politics and you taking like a pause, like politics in the industry. Did you ever? You don't have to like go into specifics or whatever happened.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
ever feel like there was like any tension between like who you are as a person and who the industry expects you to be, like
No,
expectations they have for you?
I don't know. I feel like there's a balance of things. I feel like people, I don't know who the industry expects me to be. I don't know who the industry expects me to be, actually. I think I'm learning every day.
Hmm.
People tell me in the questions that they ask and the things that they say, well, you should be doing this by now. Why isn't this happening? And you can go to the same company and one person is like, yo, the R&B music is what you need to focus on. Somebody else is like, the rap is what you need to focus on. Somebody's like, yo, the reggae, you need to do that. Like I don't know. I feel like I put more pressure on myself than anybody else ever could at this point. I feel like my commitment to my vision and my ideas, and especially with my music videos and my visuals
Mm-hmm.
and the things I want to say and the way I want to say them and the way I want to present them, um, have set a standard that's how that made it hard for me to understand how to foray into content that wasn't just super polished, like because I see it a certain way, but it's like you can't maintain that unless you spending a whole lot of money, and I'm still an independent artist, and there have been people who's like, oh, it should be this, it should be here, but it's like if you're not helping me,
Mm.
Yeah.
you saying like you should jump out of a plane and it should blow up and are you?
Are you
Here's the
funding
budget for that. You gonna pay
it? Are
for
you
that?
funding
All
it?
right, then.
Where the
Well,
money at?
I'm gonna give what I got, and I think especially at this point, right, especially right now, I'm growing and evolving just as a woman too.
Yes.
At this point right now, it's kind of like I'm gonna put it out,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to begin the process. You have to walk towards the things that are for you and the things that you want, and then people will start to join the mission along the way. But that doesn't happen unless you're walking towards it. So you can sit down and ideate about a thing all day, but if you don't walk towards it, nothing's gonna fucking happen. Like, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it to live with the regret of thinking, 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 and never
And never
doing.
put no action to it.
Yeah,
That's
being
the
like
word right
nobody
there.
believes in me because you're not showing proof of concept. Some
Exactly.
I can show you proof of concept if I'm like, yo, this is why you should give me a little bit more money. Give me some money to do this because I have a track record of doing this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And let's kind of go into this track where we're first of all, shout out to listen, the single Pat Down is out now on the DSPs. Actually, you're dropping the visual tomorrow. So let's no. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh Lord. We can't hear you.
Oh no. What happened? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me
Uh-oh.
now?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I said actually it's coming on the 6th.
Oh, oh,
It's
okay.
coming on the 6th, so
We
it's really,
retract
really
that.
Um,
soon.
We will retract that. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, but the visual is coming.
Yes,
That's all
the
that matters.
soon
visual's
to
It's
come.
coming.
coming.
Soon to
No,
It's
come.
coming.
no.
It's soon come.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I want really quickly before we get into our rapid fire, we want to say thank you so much for just really taking the time. Your team, shout out to your team for collaborating with our team to be able to get you on. Like
Thank
Yes.
I just
you.
admire you
Thank you.
as an
Shout out to
artist, the
Kennedy.
versatility, the authentic sound that you have, the voice that you have. It's amazing, and you are going to get more than what you are deserving because it's you work hard, and I see it.
Honored,
Um,
humble. Thank you.
First of all, let's talk even with some of the things. Like I said, you have a roster that you worked with Dr. Dre, you work with Nas, you work with Anderson Paak. Not only have you worked with these heavy icons, because you're definitely an icon in the making. Um,
Honored.
you have also a strong songwriter, the creator, and not only that, you hit the stages, major stage. Coachella, you just did. You did major stage, and you also just hit UCLA, their jazz reggae festival. Kind of talk about, the impact that being able to work in these spaces, to be able to be under an umbrella and still be independent as a woman that's independent
Mm.
in these spaces, and be able to have your voice heard, or maybe, what I'm saying, to be, definitely just a step up to be seen, because as women we kind of fight through certain things, and we, especially when it comes to this entertainment industry. So kind of just talk, briefly tell us in regards to that space in the moment and how that makes you feel.
I'm not sure how to answer this question yet. Clarify the question for me so I could answer it. You're talking about operating in those spaces, operating in that
Being
space and being
able
independent,
to,
or
so operating as an independent artist that's still working with some of these heavy hitters,
yeah,
and being on, we're
yeah,
being on, performing on these major stages,
yeah,
and being able to put that together, and literally, like I said, just be an independent artist.
yeah, man. I mean, I was an independent artist before I got here, so I'm grateful. I had a fan base in New York City that I still have, and I'm grateful for them. And it before I got any like I don't know. It's hard to explain this because when it's something that you are, it's something that you
Mm.
do. That's just what it is. I've always been committed to understanding more about this craft. Like I'm obsessive about it. I'll be frank and say I was recently diagnosed with ADHD combined, right? A month ago. Haven't spoken about this anywhere. And it has been a journey of understanding why I am the way I am in some areas,
Mhm.
both things that I want to improve on and things that are my superpowers. I will literally obsess over a thing. I've been obsessed with music from very young age, so I engineer myself because my engineer at the time, I was just interested in it. I love understanding how you make things sound this way. Like why does this, what is panning? What is that? What is this? Shout out to Kid Cuss, who was the first engineer that let me pick his brain and ask a million questions at 15. And I asked him, I will ask him till this day. I will ask mad questions. I will ask Dre mad questions while he's mixing. Well, what's this? And what's that? And so what's this? And what, like, I am still like a big ass kid about it. I know I sound excited because I am. I really, really love
That's
this,
good. That's
right?
what's the hardest.
Um, and so it was the same way about the stage. The stage has always been my home. That is my shit. If I had to pick between being on stage and being in the studio, I'm picking being on stage. I love when I can feel people and talk to the people, and
Mhm.
these stories that I wrote about and these things that I feel come to life on stage. And I'm reminded that I'm not alone. Like I'm not crazy because I start thinking about it and they like, word. I'm like, for real? I felt like an asshole when I wrote Bigger Person. Y'all all agree with it. Y'all little assholes too. Yes, together. Like, and no, I'm not condoning going to do anything negative, but I'm saying use this 3 minutes or whatever amount of time the song is, and let that be your soundtrack for the moment. Feel it, let it pass through you because we got shit to do. We ain't got time to be crashing out. We not doing jail. We too cute for
We
this.
That
You
part.
know,
That
girl
part.
say it
That
again
we
part.
because
got
I
it.
know I'm too
It's
cute for
it's
Christmas.
it's the opportunity to feel your
Mhm.
feelings,
Mhm.
truthfully, honestly, fully. Let them pass through you, so you're not holding them and holding resentment and anger and guilt and shame and all of those things. Let it pass through you, and you're able to just move through your life knowing that you're not alone. So that's the stage part of it. Now, for me to get there, it's like I just wanted to hear the things that I heard in my head the way I wanted to hear them on records.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
was very aware when I did my first studio session that it didn't sound like the records I heard on the radio. And I didn't understand anything about mixing and mastering my first session at like 13, like, but I did understand it didn't sound the same and I wanted to know why. And so the curiosity is what is probably what has me here. And that curiosity leads you to find answers and find how to do things and why you're doing things and what makes something happen that way. So by the time I get to um I get to focus Three Dots, who is the person that I met that introduced me to Dre, and he's like a big brother to me. And he's like, me and Focus gonna work on a record. I'm being my authentic self. He plays it for Dre. Dre's like, oh, that shit's hard. And then, over a year or so passed, and we end up in the same space because I'm on a TV show called The Four, and
Hmm.
I get kicked off the show, but a week before the world finds out, I'm still in LA. Coco, you want to come to the studio? I get there. And when I get there, Dr. Dre's in the middle of the room. At this point, I done got kicked off the show. I know I got to leave to go back to New York tomorrow, and I ain't got nothing to lose. So when they like, yo, this girl is dope, and he's like, shit, the mic's hot. I'm like, shit, you ain't said nothing but a word.
Right.
We worked on a music, literally legit said that, like, and we worked on a record that night. It's like 5 in the morning, and I was just like, yo, if I could work with you this week, I'm not getting on a plane. And then he left. He left the studio, and somebody was like, Dre's left the building. I was like, what does that mean? I asked my friend if I could stay the night. Next day, I go to the studio, lost my passport, got stuck in LA for 2 weeks, worked every day, and then eventually was asked, you want to extend your trip and move out? You want to extend your trip? And I was like, I'll move. I went back to New York for 2 weeks and moved back and just moved to LA like 2 weeks later, like,
Wow.
and been, and
Yeah.
but I was already prepared and ready for that. But a part of that means that I had to come with my gift already, what it was, like working, working with these legends is not a space where you come in and they're doing you a favor.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to add something to the room, and you learn as you go.
Yeah.
So it's going to get your master's, which means you gotta be in college already. You have to have done some work
Hmm.
and have an understanding of how things work. So that way, when you go in there, y'all can work in a way that adds to the space. And my intention is always to add to the space, whether I'm in a studio session, writing, helping with background vocals, singing, rapping, doing whatever. Whether I'm on the stage, I want to add to the space. And so the intention behind it all is like, how do we make something great? Or how do I make sure you have an experience that you don't forget? And being independent is I've been that. So the grind that you learn from that, when you can apply that to everything else, it does something different. It does something different because you've grinded already. This
Hmm.
process that I'm going through with releasing this single, this is what, like, my sixth, seventh I don't even know what project I'm on. I don't even know what number single I'm on. I need to actually count that. Like, I understand that there are certain things that I learn each release. And I think that most artists, uh we can be so busy creating that we don't release, and releasing has different is a different process from creating, and they require different things, and you need to release at least a third as much as you create, or a fourth
Hmm.
as much as you create, so that way you understand the process of what it means, and you can get better at serving your audience every time you do it you know I hope I
Hmm.
answered your question.
You
But
did.
living in all those spaces sometimes can be a little wild, because while I'm working super hard for one thing, you're in a space where they can make a phone call and whatever they try to do is that fast, and you're like, man. But at the same time, it's like I'm a part of that too. So what a blessing it is to have the insight of that world while also being so close to the street,
Mm.
that I have this and I can use both bits of
Right.
knowledge as God places me where God wants me to be. Because whatever's for me is not gonna miss me. What be for you can't be unfilled, like
Absolutely.
whatever's for you won't miss you. So you just keep walking in the direction of what it is that you're supposed to do, where your purpose is pulling you. And again, I'm still learning as I go. I'm learning every day. There's always something new. I'll be like, oh, I learned something this week that I was like, I believe it. That's crazy, all this time. And lastly, the industry keeps changing. Things
Hmm.
keep changing. The tools that we can use as independent artists keep changing.
Yeah.
Like, it keeps changing, and it keeps evolving. So Instagram used to do something 5 years ago. It can give you your insights now in a way it didn't give back then. And you can get your analytics now where you couldn't get that 10 years ago. And as things evolve, like, there are different, you have to be aware of it and care about it, so that way you can use that to your advantage as an independent artist. That's You learn. Forever be a student,
No,
Yes.
for
Forever
yes, no, for real.
forever be a student.
Before we go into our rapid fire, I just want to
Okay.
go in, I want to ask you a question. Yeah, one question before our rapid fire. Now you are two-time Grammy and you are Emmy winner, half of an EGOT. Do you feel
Man,
that it's such a major accomplishment? Do you feel like that's something that you're intentionally like trying to work towards, like trying to get like
yeah, I feel like
achieving the
that.
EGOT? I don't want to say trying, but achieving an EGOT.
Yeah, I want that. I want that. I want some hardware. I feel like when you do music, like if you go to college, you get a certificate for it.
Mm-hmm.
When you do music, you know
Yeah.
what you get. It's like you can go so long without feeling and do so much with the like. What did I do? I still have days where I'm like, I'm not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want that. I want that. And I want that with my name on it, so
Mm-hmm.
that way the people that work with me can also have that. All the
Mm-hmm.
people that believe in me and work with me, I want them to be like, yeah, I got a Grammy, a Tony, an Emmy, or an Oscar, or an American Music Award, or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you can be really, really talented, and nobody has to recognize or acknowledge that talent and say, hey, we want to celebrate that and say, hey, good job, you're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a blessing to do that, because innately when you create art, you're creating it from your soul, but when you put it out, it's you want people to be pleased with
Mm-hmm.
it. It's people pleasing in a weird way. I'm doing the show, I want people to connect with it, and that my intention for them to connect means that they hopefully are pleased with it. And so with that, it's something to say, I put all this work in for something that you can hear and feel, but you can't touch. At least I can touch some hardware,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Um, and whether that happens or not, which we're gonna say is gonna
It's gonna
happen because I won't, but I won't.
happen.
Yeah.
Um, no matter what happens, I'm really grateful that I've been chosen to be in this space in this time as a woman, as a creative. This year, this specific time in history, and I don't take for granted that this is a gift and that I get to do it every day.
Mm.
Like I had a surgery on my vocal cords. I had to learn how to talk again.
Mm.
That ain't supposed to be that. I'm not even supposed to be here. My mom passed away like
Mm.
when I was,
Yeah.
and I had to drop out of college. So I didn't get the certificate because I had to drop out to take care of my brother and sister. I'm not supposed to be here. I have been through so much and had such a traumatic childhood. Little black girls from Brooklyn.
Mm.
Not too many of us get these opportunities, or leave out of it with the trauma and the scars and the art.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't get all of it, and the opportunities and the blessings and the many men in the music industry that I have to say this. I want to say this. The industry is male dominated, right? And not too many women were able to empower me in those spaces because they weren't physically in power, right? And so, because of that, there have been many, many black men. I had some bullshit too, but there have been many, many black men that have saw me from a young age, saw me hungry and feisty and excited with a ton of questions like, well, how'd that go? I want to learn about this. And so, what's publishing? And what's this?
Mm-hmm.
And what's that? And you have some people that did some BS, and but you had a lot of people who really was just like, I see her fire, and I don't know what she gonna do, but she bump it, let her come to the studio, let her pull up. She all right, whatever, pull up. And so my passion and my intention and what happened allowed me to get to these spaces, and I just don't take it for granted. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful, and I love seeing all of the other women that I'm seeing right now
Yes.
doing the fuck out of this. I love seeing black women like doing what we
Mm-hmm.
doing, and it just feels good. So yeah.
Love
I know I'm
it.
babbling a
Yes.
bit, but I'm
You're
grateful.
great.
No,
You're
we
good.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We appreciate it because it's need to be said, and it needs to be heard, like for real. Um, and so we want to do our little quick fun personality little rapid
Ah,
fire.
shoot.
Danielle's
I
go.
bet.
Danielle's gonna go ahead.
Yes.
Take it away.
All right. So I'm gonna start it off. Okay. What's one studio must have that people might not expect from you?
Plain hot water. Just
Mm-hmm.
two things. Plain hot water, like tea, but not the tea bag. I just want hot water when I'm at the studio. And my home studios always have to have two kettlebells and an ab ball
Mm.
for years. It's been like that for years.
Oh
Like
wow.
like they right here. I'm looking at them.
Okay. You want to ask the next one, or you want me to
Yeah, I got you.
go? Okay.
If your music were a Caribbean dish,
Oh,
what would it be and why?
oxtail,
Ah,
Mm, mm,
oxtail with the with extra gravy
mm,
and the rice and peas with the
mm.
coconut milk in it.
Oh,
yeah.
girl.
All right, and some kalaloo
Hold
Oh,
on.
he's about
and
to make
some
me hit this Jamaican
festival.
spot.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
It would because it's thick. It's thick. It's on your ass. It's gonna coat your belly, you
Mhm.
know? It's gonna make you feel something, you know, and it's bright and outer ada sometimes, you know, but it's home. It's home and that's what I want my music to always do is make us return to the home within ourselves and like, you know, challenge those feelings. And if I'm not making you feel anything, hopefully go to the next song to make you feel something or it's my job to make sure you know, digging a little deeper.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
oxtail.
Yes,
Ooh.
oxtails.
I'll tell you, I'm about to go to Jamaican spot right after this. What's a moment when you were like, oh yeah, I'm really her? Like, I'm her. I'm that bitch. I'm that girl.
Oh my God. Y'all, you'll be surprised, but like, this is like an interesting question because a part of it is like I feel like way on stage, you can't tell me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But once I'm off stage, I'll be like, I can be so even though I'm outspoken and everything, like inside people that are close to me, I'm like, "Yeah, that's what's up." When I turn around, like, "Oh, listen my shit." It's terrifying. You know, I think what's a moment when I felt like that? Dang. I'm trying to because I feel like that these days. Like
Mm. Okay.
and I don't know if it was a specific thing. I went through a crazy breakup. I went through a crazy breakup and I don't think at the time not I always thought I was a great person, but I didn't think enough of my accomplishments. Uh I feel like that's now it sounds like I'm downplaying my accomplishments, which are blessings. That's not what I'm doing. I don't think I wore them like it was a part of my personality, which I
Mm.
still don't. And so I didn't recognize that the person I was dating was benefiting from the fact that his chick was lit.
Mm.
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 And there's nothing wrong with that. You do what you do, your partner do
Yeah.
what they do. Y'all
Yeah.
good money. Y'all
Praying
walking
about each other.
together. Y'all
Yeah.
y'all walking together. Y'all hold the presence. Y'all have put in work individually. But I just remember realizing like that person was like super jealous when we got into an argument at the end. It was like, you think just because people, I
Mm.
was just like, oh, I'm
That's how you
her.
really feel. That's how you really feel. That's crazy.
Wait, I'm her. I'm that
Mm.
girl. I never felt like
And that's
that, girl. As a matter of
projection
fact, I was
too.
taught the opposite of that. Like you looked at that and think that that's why I'm leaving because you're a dick and
Mhm.
you're not a nice person and you cheated and you
Ooh.
lied and that's why I'm leaving. Not because it is Grammy.
Ooh.
What? That's a whole nother
But
conversation.
Oh,
I'm gonna still shit on you though. Mm-mm.
as a matter of fact, I've been actively shitting this entire time, and I put you on a
Ooh.
oh, you
No.
know? And yeah, that person was you know, later on you realize they were like diagnosed narcissists and we have not spoken in years, you know, and won't speak in years. But I remember it was like that moment where I remember feeling so like either, oh, I need to hide these things about myself, these accomplishments, or like, no, you weird. No, I never even bring that up. That's at the forefront of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That may be something that I should carry with me when I feel like I'm not doing what I need to do to remind myself like no you're this you're all of this and yes you're scared of this right now but you're still all of these things you did that nobody can take that from you you know and I think it's a weird way to get to it
Mhm.
but you know that's what happened.
Mm. Okay.
Yes.
And final question. Finish the sentence. Coco Sarai, being Coco Sarai means.
Being the rawest form of yourself.
Mm,
Um, even when it's scary,
mm,
even when you actually don't want to be, um, because you know that the world needs to see something real and the world needs to feel something real.
Right.
And if that's a part of who you are and that's your genetic makeup, then that's your job. And that is what God gave to you. So you do your job and God gonna do the rest.
mm.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And last but not least, of course, as we're exiting out, once again, we just want to give you our full thank you, heartfelt
Yes.
thank you for just being here. I mean,
Thank
this is
you.
the most craziest, most rawest, fun-filled conversation that we love having
Yes.
here on
And
Indie
we appreciate your
Talks.
energy.
We
Yes.
definitely love the energy.
Thank you
Hate
so
that I missed
much.
when you came to Brooklyn because obviously when you did your single release, it was sold out by the time I could even
It
put in
was
an
packed
RSVP.
out. Oh man, I wish if you would have emailed me because I know we were already in communication by that time. I think I would have definitely been like, just cut. Literally, you're fine.
Okay.
I
Okay.
would have
I was
had
like,
you.
I didn't
So
want
if
to
it
press
ever happens
my
again,
pressing, and I was like, we were just trying to get the interview. I was like, because I love the music. I was like, I didn't want to push it, but
if it ever happens again, please email the team and be like, hey, Coco said,
Okay. I
I got
asked
you.
her, Coco. She said, not for
yes,
you to put.
She said, but yes, and I would have definitely made sure you were accommodated and good. It was so much fun that I coming back home always feels like a freaking like my heart is so full. It's so full. I'm still smiling thinking about it. I'm so blessed.
Mm,
love
I'm
it,
so
love
blessed,
it.
you know.
And as
Yeah.
we're closing out, one of our favorite questions that we love to ask, of course, is just as you continue your journey, what words of encouragement are you able to give to other rising artists who either they're still trying to find their way, or they're just jump starting into this to kind of work it. They really found their tone, their feet, but yet it's something that they're still trying to figure out. So, what words of encouragement would you provide?
I have so many. I'm trying to narrow them down in my brain. The
Mm,
first thing that came to me, because every time I'm asked this question, something different comes and then it just keeps,
hmm.
bubbling. Right now, the first thing that came to my spirit is to tell people to try
mm,
it because I think that we're in a world right now where people are shaming people for trying some shit. Like they're shaming people for like
mm,
being excited about some shit. Like they're shaming people for liking somebody, for liking their partner. They're shaming people for being excited about their plant growing in their on their balcony. There's or the
It's
fact that
crazy.
their dog took their first steps after like it's weird the amount of hating ass motherfuckers we got on the internet
mm,
and that can be so loud where I feel like before people had a chance to work on things in private. Now you're working on it for the world to see and it is more difficult than it was, I think, back in the day in that way. But the
Mm,
beautiful thing is your people will grow with you. They will grow with you through you messing up, through you like sounding bad to sounding good, so if you choose to start and you're starting in this space and you choose to do it in this way, try. Keep trying, because you learn something. You can only fail forward and you can't fail at effort. So please try because the world needs you and you need to try
mm.
because you'll only learn, you only learn from that level of doing it, You'll learn from other people's experiences too. But for yourself, you'll learn from doing it. I'm still learning, y'all. I'm genuinely I feel like a kid again. I feel like a brand new artist right now. And
Mm.
it's annoying sometimes. It's annoying. It's really annoying when I'm like, do I wanna what about what I gotta yeah, I still have those feelings, but I'm gonna do this shit because ain't nobody about to trick me up out of my spot that God got for me. Don't let
I,
nobody trick you out your spot.
that part,
Mm.
Bump that. Do your shit.
that
Yeah.
part. Well,
Yeah.
thank.
And learn as much as you can.
Ooh, yes.
About everything, about every part of it, because there are going to be too many people that you end up having to pay over time. And if you don't understand what their jobs are, they're going to fuck you going to have a lot of issues. So I'm not saying do everything because you can't. You need a team. You have to scale at some point. But learn as much as you
Mhm.
can, you know, it's going to help you. Yeah.
Yes. Listen, you don't said everything. You gave some gems. You dropped some
Yes.
knowledge. You gave. I mean, you definitely said it. So if you came in, you missed it. Listen,
Give a
you gotta
word of
catch
the
it back on
day.
the YouTube. Run it back on the YouTube, okay? Listen, right now, Pat Down is on all DSPs. Please
No.
make sure you go support. As she said, she is an indie artist. She is doing it herself, and she's doing big things.
Big
Okay,
teams are
big
going.
things. Big things are going.
The
Okay.
big things are going. June 6th.
Video soon
Music videos
come.
dropping on
Yes.
music videos dropping on June 6th. I know some people saw the cover art and saw me have this like half a
Mm-hmm.
thing on my face and was like, why is Coco in a ski mask? What is happening? Shorty drops one rap record and all of a sudden she's in a
That.
shiesty. Like, no, there's a reason. There's a reason. And you'll find out when you see the music
They're gonna
video.
I
find
can't
out.
wait.
They just have to wait and find
June
out.
6th. June
I'm
6th.
excited.
June 6th.
Yeah, June 6th.
Thank you so much again, Queen, for coming through, sitting with us
Yeah.
and talking with us.
Thank you
Definitely.
for having
We
me, y'all.
we pray nothing but many blessings and keep going in your
That
career.
EGOT.
And EGOT's coming. EGOT's coming. Yes.
Let's
Yes.
get it.
Yes.
And
And then
congratulations to you,
thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having me
you.
and
Thank you.
creating this platform. Like, I appreciate it. I'm excited. And, hopefully I'll be back
Yeah.
soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on our way to LA. We're gonna be on
Bet.
our way to LA again. Got
Bet.
you.
All right, bet.
All right. Well,
Yep, yep.
enjoy the rest of this beautiful
You
day.
too.
All right. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Ah, love it, love it, love it, love it,
Love
love it.
it.
Very motivational, very, you know,
Just
I just love everything.
just in your face, just literally just like don't bite the tongue, just like know what she wants, go after it. She know what type of music she wants to do and what she's putting out. And I just love
Mhm.
that it's bold and it has energy.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
you don't have no choice but to really get
So,
on with it.
exactly, for
All
real.
right. So listen, guys, thank you so much for just tuning in. This is our actually last episode for the season.
It
This
is
is
so
all right. But
hard
right.
to say goodbye.
But stay tapped in with us. We got a lot of stuff. We have revamped on GENEUS. We got a lot of surprises coming. We
Yeah.
got some collaborations that are
More
happening.
content
Music, a
coming.
lot of content coming. So please stick in there with us. Until next season, you already know. All right. It's always real music,
Music,
real
real
style,
style,
and
real
real
people.
people. And guess what, guys? It don't get no realer than this.
It's
I'm your host, Aisha Lewis Redway, and of course, my beautiful co-host.
Danielle Meeks. I realized we didn't do an
I know.
intro.
Oh, we were just so